How's it going? Devin here with Ground Force Metal Detecting. This guide is for someone new to the MINELAB Manticore. Alright? This is the beginner's guide to the Manticore. Alright? Now maybe you're not a beginning metal detector. You're probably not if you have one of these. Okay? If you did dive right into metal detecting and bought a Manticore as your first detector, you are awesome. But there's going to be a learning curve. Now, for the 99.999% of you who are Manticore newbies who already have been metal detecting and this is an upgrade for you, or maybe you got out of it for a while and just wanted to get in and get a damn good metal detector. I don't want to say the best metal detector, but pretty darn close, okay, if it's not. Anyway, this is for you. This video is for you. I'm going to be going through every setting on the machine and explaining what they do. Just sort of going through and just getting you started on this thing, all right? So let's go. Let's go. Let's go. But first, here's a tip on setting your metal detector shaft for the correct length. Let's take a look. Hey guys, I'm out here with the MINELAB Manticore and I want to show you a couple things here. Alright, so now this is important, alright? So you need to know how to set your metal detector for your height, okay? So here's what you do. Stand together, put your hands down at your side, just relax, alright? And take one step forward like a normal walking step. Now, stay in that position, all right? Pull your Manticore, pull your shaft out, lock in the outer shaft. I bring it out almost to the red line, okay? And then I put it back in. Now, bring it out. Bring it out and place that coil right in front of your forward foot. And then just stand up straight with your hand down at your side, and that coil should sit right in front of your foot, okay, when your hand's hanging down relaxed. And that's how you set it. Now, I like to take my coil and twist it just a little bit, about 2 degrees to the left, okay, since I'm right-handed. And what that does is when I go over this way, that coil is 2 degrees to the left and stays level. Okay, I can keep it level over here, but when I go over here, my arm tends to run out of arm, and the coil will start too. So, you want to have a swing like this, okay? Just about less than an inch above the ground, scraping grass if you got grass. All right, now let's talk about how to set this thing up to metal detect. All right, guys, I want to give you a quick start guide. A cheat sheet, if you will. This is what I do when I take the Manticore out metal detecting, almost every time, all right? I don't use special programs, okay? In my opinion, the Manticore comes from the factory almost set perfectly, all right? So what I do almost all the time, just in case I did tweak something, I start out with a factory reset every time I metal detect, okay? Factory reset. Then all I do is stay in all-terrain general to start, okay? I'll do a frequency scan. I turn on ground tracking, okay? I like the ground tracking. The ground tracking on the Manticore works great. It's state-of-the-art technology, all right? I will change my ferrous numbers to red, okay? And then sometimes I will change my sound profile, okay? It comes up on normal. Sometimes I'll go to enhanced rich. And why? Because it makes deeper targets sound more different, more fainter than the shallow targets. It changes the differentiation, okay? It increases the difference in the sound, okay? The other thing I should mention is I don't usually mess with ferrous limits. I leave them alone. And I don't mess with my tones. I just want all tones. I don't want all kinds of different fancy blocks of tones. I just want all tones. I want to hear high tones. I want to hear mid tones. I want to hear low tones. I don't need fancy blocks of tones. All right, I don't mess with that. The other thing I'll do is sometimes I'll mess with my recovery speed a little bit. If I am looking for deeper, if I'm in an area where I want to try to shoot deep, I'll lower my recovery speed. Sensitivity. I start out with sensitivity around 23, 23. Sometimes I'll go to 25 if I'm in an area where I can get away with that, or I'll lower it. And again, the recommendation, my recommendation is to stick with 20 to 25. Don't go outside of that. 26. I'm not gonna punch you in the face or anything, but don't go jacking it up to 30 or above. Okay, you're just being uh, you're going to cause yourself problems. Okay. So that's your cheat sheet. Let's go back to the video. All right, so let's get started here. The first thing I'm going to do is power it on, and I'm going to do a factory reset right from the start. All you do is your upper left-hand side button is your power button, and we're going to hold it in. Okay, with the machine off, I'm going to hold the button in for power, and you'll see it's going to come on. It's going to say continue to hold for factory reset. So I held it a little more, and that's a factory reset. The whole machine is set to back to factory that quick. Now I'm going to turn my sensitivity down since I'm in my office here. Turn your sensitivity down with your left and right arrows. I'm going to turn it down to 1. Okay? Just because I'm in my basement, in my office, and there's a bunch of EMI here, okay? Now, while we're talking about sensitivity, let's talk about that. Sensitivity on a Manticore goes from up to 35 max, okay? But here's the thing: you don't need to ever go to 35. It's almost unusable at 35 or even 30. I recommend, and this comes from many other recommendations, I recommend you start out at about 20 and max out your usage, your normal metal detecting, max out the sensitivity about 25. Okay, anything above that, and you're just opening yourself up to falsing and different noise, false targets, etc. It's most accurate and most stable in that 20 or even 18, but I use 20 to 25 range. Okay, somewhere in that range there, within one or two. Don't don't go and crank it up to 35 and expect it to work great and go out in your yard and it's going to go ballistic. Okay. All right. So now here's how you work the screen. All right. Let's talk about the menu buttons and how they navigate. Your gear button on your upper center button there. We're going to press that, and that's going to go into your settings. Okay. Now it always starts with volume. This is the volume of the machine, and we're going to go up and down with these arrows up at the menu bar on the left. Okay. Um, your search bar, your search mode. Okay. It starts in all terrain general. It starts in the last mode that you had the machine on, and that's how the Manticore works. The Manticore does not have user slots. Okay. Each search mode is adjustable, and it just stays the way you leave it. Okay. Until you do a factory reset or a mode factory reset. You can reset each mode separately. So if you got the high conductor mode working great, but you've been messing around with the general terrain mode and you just want to start over, you can reset just the general terrain all terrain, or you can reset just the all terrain high conductor. Okay, you don't have to do a complete factory reset. You can reset each mode. Okay, so it comes with 5 dry land modes. Okay, let's go through those: general, fast, low conductors, high conductors, and trash reject. Okay. Then you've got 4 beach settings. Okay. Beach general, beach low conductors, beach deep, and beach surf and seawater, which you would use actually in the water. Okay. Imagine that. And then you got Goldfield. Okay. I'm going back to all terrain general. So sensitivity stays between modes. Sensitivity is an overall machine setting. So no matter what, if you switch modes, you've got to, if you change your sensitivity, it's going to stay the same. Okay, your sensitivity stays universal. Okay, when you change it, it's universal across all modes. So now back to the gear. Okay, we're in search mode, general. I'm going up. Noise cancel. Okay. Noise cancel is if you're getting EMI, it will change the band of the frequencies that it's using in multi-frequency, or if you're using a single frequency, it'll bump it just a little bit just to get rid of noise. All you do is hit your right upper button. Now you can press it once and get in a noise cancel channel, or you can press and hold it in, and what will happen sometimes is the number will change. Right now it's staying on 8, okay? And then you just let off. But sometimes it'll change, and then it'll stick with one. It'll choose one. And then you let off, and now you've chosen maybe the better one, okay? Let's go up. Ground balance. Okay, this is where you ground balance, and you've got a tracking button here. You can turn on ground tracking, where it will just automatically ground balance the machine as you detect, okay? Recovery speed. Okay, recovery speed. If you're a Deus 2 user, is reactivity. Okay, but every other machine calls it recovery speed. It is basically the speed at which the machine resets itself for the next target. Okay, if you've got trashy dense targets, high recovery speed hits targets close together. If you want to go a little deeper and your targets are spaced out and you don't have a lot of trash or a lot of stuff that's, causing the detector to go off, lower your recovery speed. Slows down the detector, makes it take its time finding targets. Okay. High recovery speed kind of rushes it through it. Okay. Hits all the targets, but not as deep. Okay. Discrimination patterns. So you've got different discrimination patterns here. And you've got custom or all metal. Okay, all metal is basically no discrimination at all, which you have a button on the screen. You don't need to use that setting. Keep it on custom discrimination. Okay, you can change that. That's a whole video in its own of how to adjust the custom discrimination pattern. I just always just use the factory discrimination because I will talk about how I personally do it. I will hit a target and then I will switch it to all metal after I find a target that's hitting in discrimination mode, and then I'll switch it to all metal and check it to be iron, whether it's iron or not. Okay, it's part of my check to be iron. Okay, Ferris limits. I have a whole video on Ferris limits. Okay, what it is, right? So Ferris limits, you've got an upper and a lower. Nails fall into the upper end of that graph. So you want to adjust your gray bar to where your nails are falling in that gray bar if you want to discriminate out nails. Large iron's going to fall down in the lower half of the screen, and you can adjust how far and how much of that you discriminate out. Okay, that's what Ferris limits do. And again, there's a whole video. I have a whole separate video going into the weeds on Ferris limits. Okay, Ferris volume. Now this is just the volume of your iron tones. Okay, when you're in all metal mode, iron will make a sound, and this is the volume of that low tone. Okay, iron only sounds off in all metal mode. When you're in all metal mode, okay, and let's look at all metal mode. Let's get out of this. All metal mode is this horseshoe on the upper left, okay? If I hit that, you see how the gray discriminated areas lighten out? It goes away, all right? So when I'm in all metal mode, items that are discriminated will beep with a low tone, and the number will come up red if it's set that way, all right? And here's how you do that. Let's put it back in discrimination. We'll go to settings. I'm going to skip to the part where you make your numbers red, okay? we're going to go up, 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 up to the gear. Okay. Then I'm going to hit this gear on the upper right. Then I'm going to come down to Ferris indication. Now I can have it underline my numbers in red, or I can have red numbers. I like the red numbers. I'm going to leave it there. Okay, back down here, Ferris volume. Now, I can also go to the right on Ferris volume and change the Ferris pitch, the pitch of my low discriminated tones. Okay, stabilizer. Okay, got a whole video on this. Stabilizer, you don't want to go crazy on that. Stabilizer is to mitigate iron falsing. Okay, that's its purpose. All right. If you're getting a lot of iron falsing, so you're detecting you're getting high tones and it's amongst iron, and you dig and there was no non-ferrous target, it was just large iron, you can add some stabilizer, and it helps to mitigate that. And it's something you have to kind of do with experience. um, Now you've got a stabilizer, and then if you turn it on, if you hit the pencil on stabilizer, you can change the number of your stabilizer, and you can also turn on and off a stabilizer filter. So the stabilizer filter works with the stabilizer, and again, this really gets in the weeds. So it's probably best to watch my other video that's just on the stabilizer and stabilizer filter and how they work. Okay, we're getting out of the beginning stuff here, right? All right, target tones. Here's how this works. All right, you've got regions of tones. Okay, Manticore has 99 VDI. VDI goes from 1 to 99. Okay, you can break that 99 up into what they call regions. Okay, maybe a region is from 1 to 50, and maybe region 2 is from 51 to 99. That would be 2 regions. Okay, you have a choice of 2 region or 5 region or 1 region, basically. 1 region, 2 regions, or 5 regions. Okay, so region is going to be a block of your VDIs. Okay, just first let's talk about regions first, and then we'll get to the other. If you have 2 regions, you're breaking your 1 to 99 up in 2, and you choose where that break is. Okay, if you have 5 regions, you will choose the breaks. Okay, 1 to 20, 21 to 40, 41 to 60, 61 to 80, whatever. You choose those regions. And then when you adjust it, you're going to be able to make any region the same tone. You can make it have a slope of tones, kind of like all tones within that region. You could literally have 1 tone across the whole board, except for a tiny block that you chose a different tone, or even a tiny block that you chose a sliding scale of all tones, just in that little block. You you can customize all that. Okay, so 2 region all tones, 5 region all tones. Okay, 1 tone is obvious. Okay, just 1 tone, and you can adjust the tone. Okay, you can adjust the volume and pitch of the tone. 2 tone, 2 tone, but no all tones. All right, so 2 tone meaning you've got meh and you've got meh. That's it. Right, 2 tones. 5 tones, 5 flat tones. And then when you get into the all tones, that's when you can put your sliding scales in different places. Okay, now this is really getting this is really kind of getting picky, right? I mean, I kind of just use 5 region all tones most of the time, okay? Because I want to hear the high tones when I'm in a high conductor, and I want to hear a mid tone when I'm in a mid conductor. I want to hear all tones, right? I don't really need regions when I detect. I mean, I guess there's place for that. If I wanted to set the detector up to just make certain sounds on certain coins or something like that, I just use 5 region all tones, okay, which is what it's set up for on a lot of the programs already. All right, going back, audio themes. Okay, audio theme normal. Normal is normal. actually, normal brings up deep, faint tones and amplifies them, kind of like the DS2's audio response function. But normal does it. Okay. Then if you go to enhanced, enhanced actually makes deeper targets fainter and shallow targets louder. Okay. It enhances that difference. There's a difference in normal, but it's more of a difference in enhanced. And then depth is a pitch tone. Okay. Depth is going to be, instead of the pitch relating to the VDI, the pitch of the tone is going to relate to the depth of the target, or the proximity of the target to the coil. Okay. Or actually, if you think about it, it's the strength of the signal. Prospecting mode. Okay. This is for just using when you're looking for gold, when you're gold prospecting. All right. Now, under normal, you've got a pencil. This is where you can put a threshold in if you want, and you can select your profile. So you can get medium, rich, or simple. I could tell you that rich really enhances that depth difference. Okay. Medium is in between, and simple sort of makes it less of a difference. Okay. Keep it simple. No, I actually like either the factory setting of normal, or I like enhanced rich if I'm trying to hear deep targets from shallow targets. Like if I've got a lot of shallow targets and I want to hear the deep ones, I like enhanced rich. Multi IQ, keep it on multi IQ. Just keep the machine on multi IQ. Okay. The only reason you would ever go out of multi IQ is if you're having some kind of EMI problem that you are on your last resort of mitigating, and you're going to try a single frequency to mitigate EMI. Other than that, just use multi IQ. Okay. It's the freaking best. It's the best multi frequency technology that's out there. Okay. General settings. Let's look through here. Okay. Basically, you've got some basic settings here: English, your language. You've got vibrate. You've got a flashlight. Okay. You got a flashlight. You actually can control the lighting. You can control your display brightness, your keypad brightness, and your flashlight separately. And this flashlight even has different brightnesses. Soft keys. Okay. These are like shortcuts. You've got one on the side up here on the right, and you've got the one that's in the upper right, and you can adjust these soft keys to do what you want. So let's just hit soft keys here. We hit the right arrow, and you select of three soft keys. So your upper and right and left, and your side button, and you can actually select what they do. As you're detecting, you would just hit one of those soft keys, and it's a shortcut to whatever function you want. You can go to favorite. You can choose a favorite mode. You can have it change the search mode. You can make it to flashlight. You can make your display backlight come on and off. You can give yourself a sensitivity boost. You can mute your speaker, and you can go right to recovery speed or frequency. And this one here, clear ID map, I guess if you can't wait for the 2D screen to clear, you can clear it. I got to have it cleared, like now. I can't wait 3 seconds. What? 3 seconds? Switch it to all metal, which that's a default on the one, and accept reject. So accept reject is a form of discriminating out a certain VDI, just that target's VDI. You can block it out, discriminate out a certain VDI. Notch it out. I had a little moment there. Did you see that? Did you catch me? Ferrous indication, we looked at that. And you can reset now. Here's where you reset the machine. So this is a full factory reset. Okay, you can do it here too. Underwater boost, software compliance. Now, let's talk about resetting individual. So maybe you want to reset some settings, but back to factory, but not the whole machine because you liked what you did on a different mode. So go to your search mode. Okay. Let's reset all train high conductors, okay? Because I was messing around with it and now I don't even remember what I did, okay? So you hit the pencil. Pencil, come down, then go to the right, and then hit check mark. You just reset that mode, okay? Just that mode got reset, okay? Now, oh, pinpoint button. This is the pinpoint button. Don't hit that when you're in your garage, okay? So, yeah, this is a pinpoint button. You would hit the down arrow when you're detecting, put it into pinpoint mode, okay? Now, this one you don't have to hold like you had to hold the legend. This one stays in pinpoint mode until you take it out of pinpoint mode, all right? Your depth meters here, they call it a depth meter, okay? But there's no such thing as a depth meter on a metal detector. It is a signal strength meter. Metal detectors don't have sonar. They only detect signal strength. Whoa. And the detector down. Okay. Now, I think I've gone through most of it here. I mean, that's it. Hey guys, I'm not going to go into the Manticore's 2D screen in this video. I want you to go to my other video that I just made prior to this one called How to Interpret the Manticore 2D Screen. Okay, I'll go into it. There's no sense even mentioning the 2D screen in this video. Just drag out the video. Go to the other video and learn the 2D screen separately. It's its own video, okay? Those are the basic settings on a Manticore, okay? Now here's the thing, all right? A Manticore does not need any kind of custom program or any kind of special settings. It works great right out of the box, okay? You don't need to do much to it, okay? So here's a procedure, okay? Do a factory reset and then follow this procedure, all right? Pick your search mode, you know, pick your general or your high conductor, low conductor, okay? I suggest you start in general, all right? Do a frequency scan and either ground balance or turn on ground tracking, okay? Here's the thing about the Manticore ground tracking, all right? Ground tracking has a bad rap with other metal detectors. The Manticore has advanced technology. The ground tracking works, okay? It does not affect depth, does not affect your target separation. Ground tracking works on a Manticore, okay? It is smart enough to know what is ground and what is not. It will not ground balance out your targets or anything like that. All right, so I run ground tracking, okay? That's like it. That's like it. Set your sensitivity to 20 and start detecting. See how it goes. Get out there and metal detect. Manticore users, swing away.
Let's go. Let's go.